She told me she found someone better, expecting tears and desperation. But when I took her words seriously and left, she returned broken, apologizing, and shocked that I finally chose myself over her games. My name is Eli. I'm 34, and 6 weeks ago I walked away from a 3-year relationship in the quietest, most decisive way I ever have. It happened on a sponsored trip to Maui, glamorous on the outside, emotionally suffocating on the inside. My ex, Natalie, is a travel influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm a photographer. When we first met, it felt like a real partnership. We traveled, created together, pushed each other creatively. But slowly, what we had turned into something lopsided. Like I wasn't her boyfriend anymore, just the guy behind the camera making her world look perfect. She res-hot sunsets, demanded angles, treated real life like a stage. And every time I tried to talk about how distant she felt, she brushed me off as dramatic. Still, I hoped the Maui trip would reset things. 6 influencers, a luxury itinerary, couples invited along. I thought maybe being away from LA pressure would help us reconnect. Instead, day 2 is where everything cracked open. We were at a private beach for a sunrise shoot when a PR coordinator named Chase joined us. Mid-20s, too polished, introduced himself using his Instagram handle like that was his full name. As the day went on, he gravitated to Natalie, complimenting her poses, standing closer than necessary, laughing at things that weren't funny. I tried to ignore it. I was sitting under a palm tree, editing footage, when Natalie let out this exaggerated laugh, the kind she used when she wanted attention. I looked up. Chase was rubbing sunscreen onto her shoulders. The way she leaned into him, something twisted in my chest. Then she yelled for everyone to hear. "Chase, can you help me? Eli gets weird about sunscreen." People laughed. I didn't. I just stared at my laptop, feeling heat rise behind my ribs. Then she looked straight at me with this smirk, that testing, taunting look, and said even louder, "If you're jealous, just go home." The whole beach went silent. A couple people giggled awkwardly. Chase glanced away like even he knew she'd crossed a line, but he wasn't about to say anything. Every pair of eyes landed on me, and in that moment, something inside me stopped fighting. I closed my laptop, stood up, walked past her without a word. She called out, pretending it was a joke, but there was panic under her tone, panic that I wasn't reacting the way she expected. Back at the resort, I sat in the room for hours, staring at nothing. She messaged the group chat pretending everything was fine, pretending I was the problem. She came back around 6 p.m., annoyed she had to cover for me. Said I was being immature, that I was embarrassing her in front of important people, that my feelings were making her look bad. Not once did she ask if I was hurt. Not once did she apologize. That night, while she did her makeup for dinner, I looked up flights. A red-eye to San Diego left at 5 a.m. I sat there for half an hour, cursor hovering over purchase, arguing with myself. Part of me thought leaving was dramatic, but the louder part knew this had been building for a long time. I wasn't her partner anymore. I was a prop. I booked the flight. She left for dinner without asking if I wanted to join. Heels clicking down the hallway, fading out. I packed quietly in the dark. Set my alarm for 3:30 a.m., didn't sleep. When the time came, I grabbed my bag, wrote her a note. "You told me to go home. So I am," and slipped out of the room. I turned off my phone mid-flight. When I landed, 63 missed calls. Her last text, "You're ruining everything. Call me back." I didn't. Someone from the trip posted a 15-second video of the beach moment. Her yelling, "Go home," me walking away. It went viral, but not in the way she expected. Brands dropped her. Her follower count plummeted. Comment sections shredded her. Meanwhile, I stayed silent. I just untagged myself and disappeared online. 2 days later, I posted a single sunset photo with the caption, "Respect is quiet. Disrespect is loud." That was the beginning of everything that followed. The fallout from that moment on the beach didn't hit immediately. It wasn't until I got back home, unpacked my camera gear, and sat alone in my apartment that the weight of everything finally settled on me. But the world didn't wait. Within days, the consequences started rolling in, faster and louder than anything I had prepared for. I didn't post anything at first. I didn't say a word about Maui, or about her, or about the reason I left. I just disappeared from social media for a bit. But then a small clip from that beach scene hit the internet and exploded. Someone from the influencer group uploaded a 15-second video where Natalie shouted, "If you're jealous, go home," while I walked away in the background. They captioned it, "When your boyfriend can't handle your success." It was supposed to be funny. It wasn't. The joke backfired instantly. Comments questioned why she humiliated her partner in public. Hundreds of people said it made them uncomfortable. Thousands called out the disrespect. Within 48 hours, the video was everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, commentary channels. And almost no one took her side. Her followers dropped by the tens of thousands. Brands paused partnerships. The travel company that hosted the trip removed her from future campaigns. Meanwhile, I stayed silent. 5 days after returning home, I posted one picture, just a calm, orange-hued sunset over the water. The caption read, "Respect is quiet. Disrespect is loud." I didn't expect anything, but that post blew up. My following doubled. Brands reached out, some I hadn't worked with in years, offering me campaigns centered around emotional maturity, self-worth, and quiet confidence. For the first time in a long time, people saw me, not just the guy behind her camera. Meanwhile, Natalie's world was unraveling fast. One of the influencers from Maui actually messaged me privately with screenshots of a group chat from the night I left. Natalie called me insecure, dramatic, a burden she was tired of managing. She made jokes about me needing therapy, and Chase replied with laughing emojis. But what hit hardest were the messages showing she'd been flirting with Chase even before the sunscreen incident. Compliments, inside jokes, hints, not enough to call cheating, but enough to make my stomach twist. Enough to make everything suddenly make sense. The internet wasn't done, either. Someone leaked flirty DMs between her and Chase. Natalie tried damage control, posted a crying apology video in her bedroom. No makeup, tragic music, talking about pressure and misunderstandings. But people saw through it immediately. They weren't buying the tears. They wanted accountability. And still, not a single message to me. No apology. No explanation. Not until 2 weeks later. Out of nowhere, she texted, "Can we talk? Please. I just need to explain." I stared at that message for a long time before replying with one sentence. "Talking won't fix what happened." She called immediately. I let it ring. Then again. Then a long text wall about mistakes, pressure, missing me, wanting to talk. I didn't block her. I just stepped back. I needed space. Around that same time, a journalist reached out asking if I'd do an interview about emotional boundaries in relationships. I agreed. We talked about my firefighter past, losing someone on a call years ago, how it reshaped my understanding of conflict and silence. She asked if I regretted leaving Maui the way I did. I told her the truth. I regretted staying as long as I did, not leaving. When the article went live, everything accelerated. More support, more opportunities. A strange kind of spotlight formed around me, not because I sought it, but because walking away quietly had become a rare act in a world addicted to drama. Meanwhile, Natalie was losing everything. Sponsorships gone, followers gone, reputation shattered, friends distancing. Her image, carefully built over years, crumbling in real time. And as much as everyone thought I must have felt vindicated, I didn't. I just felt tired, exhausted, like I'd been carrying a weight for years and finally set it down. I didn't know it yet, but things were about to get even more complicated. I didn't expect to hear from her again, not after everything. But late the next evening, just as I was settling down to relax, my phone lit up with an unknown number. I knew instantly it was her. She had too much pride to text me from her actual one, so of course she'd borrow a friend's phone. At first, I ignored it. Then it rang again, and again. Finally, I picked up, not out of curiosity, but out of exhaustion. She didn't even say hello. Her voice came sharp, fast, almost trembling. "Why did you block my card?" I let out a breath. "You said you didn't want anything to do with me." I assumed that included my money. There was a silence on the line, heavy, startled. She wasn't expecting me to answer like that. She wasn't expecting me to be calm. "I didn't mean it," she said finally, her tone shifting into that familiar mix of guilt and manipulation. I was angry. "You can't just abandon me like that." I almost laughed. "Me? Abandon her? You found someone better, remember?" I said. "Your words, not mine." She inhaled sharply, like she'd just been slapped. I could practically hear her scrambling for a way to fix the narrative. "He's not. I don't even talk to him anymore. It wasn't serious. I just wanted you to react. to show you care. Congratulations, I said. I reacted. And now I'm done. Another silence. Then the sound of her breath catching. The first crack in her voice came right after. Can you please just come over? We need to talk. In person. No, I said. We don't. She kept talking about how she made a mistake, how she felt lonely, how she didn't know what she was doing, how she thought I'd chase after her. But that was the thing. For the first time since I met her, I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just a quiet certainty that I didn't want to go back. I'm not coming, I said. Take care. Before she could respond, I ended the call. I didn't block the number. Not out of hope, just because I didn't need to. Whatever she wanted from me no longer mattered. The next morning, she tried once more. A short message. I'm sorry. Please. I stared at it for a moment, then locked my phone and walked away. Some endings don't need explanations. Some people only realize your worth when they no longer have access to you. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. That I thought everything would end with that last message I ignored. But closure has a strange way of circling back, even when you think you've already buried the whole thing. A week passed. A quiet week. No late-night phone vibrations, no long paragraphs from her, no attempts to twist the story. For the first time in months, my days felt normal, clean, peaceful, until she showed up in person. It was a Saturday morning. I had just stepped outside to grab a coffee, half asleep, hoodie on, headphones in. And there she was, standing near the entrance of my building like she'd been rehearsing what to say for hours. She looked different, not in a dramatic way, just tired. Eyes red, makeup smudged, the kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from lack of sleep, but from running out of excuses. I paused. She pulled in a shaky breath. Can we talk? She asked. I considered walking past her. Truly. But something in her expression stopped me. Not nostalgia, not affection, just the sense that she needed to say something she couldn't text. So I nodded once. Talk. She stepped closer, keeping her voice low. I messed up. I know I did. I was stupid and jealous and angry, and I said the worst thing I could think of, but I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't mean any of it. I looked at her the whole time. Not coldly, just openly. Nothing to hide, nothing to argue. You didn't mean it, I repeated. But you still said it. She closed her eyes for a moment, like it physically hurt. I thought you'd try to fix things. I thought you'd fight for me. I didn't think you'd actually agree. That's the problem, I said quietly. You wanted me to chase. Not love. She didn't deny it. She just looked down at her hands, fingers twisting nervously. I never wanted to lose you, she whispered. But you didn't want to treat me right either. She flinched. Maybe it was harsh, but it was true. And for once, I wasn't sugarcoating anything. A minute passed. The street was quiet, just the wind brushing past us. Finally, she looked up with eyes that held a kind of desperate hope. Can we start over? It wasn't a dramatic plea. It wasn't shouting or crying. Just a soft question from someone who finally realized the cost of her actions. But I had my answer long before she even asked. No, I said. Not angry. Not bitter. Just final. You broke it yourself. On purpose. And I'm not rebuilding it for you. Her lips parted like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. She understood. Maybe for the first time. I walked past her, not quickly, not dramatically, just calmly. And as I did, she whispered something I almost didn't catch. I didn't think you'd ever stop loving me. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Because endings don't always come with slammed doors or screaming matches. Sometimes they happen with a simple truth. I didn't stop loving her. I just finally started loving myself more. By the time I reached the coffee shop, the weight in my chest was gone. Not heavy, not hollow, just free. And that was the real ending. Not her apology, not my refusal, but the quiet moment I realized I had absolutely nothing left to return to. I stepped inside, ordered my drink, and walked back into my life. A life that, for the first time in a long time, finally felt like mine again.